Hello and welcome. We're here a few minutes early today because Lisa's having some issues with her internet and we want to just check it all out and get it all straight. I don't see anybody in chat yet, but I know you'll be here shortly. So I won't get ahead of ourselves. I would like to take this moment to welcome everyone here, joining Lisa and I while we make our shipwreck bottles. And it's going to be a lot of fun. There she is.
Okay. Yeah.
It's going to be so much fun. And if you have fun today and you like this sort of project, do me a favor and hit the like and subscribe. That would be amazing. And
Okay. I think we've got the feedback taken care of now.
Oh, good.
Hi, Uda.
Hey, Uda.
Welcome.
I know we're early. We
did pop on a little bit early because they're working on the fiber optics in our neighborhood, and about 20 minutes ago, I lost everything. The only thing that I had internet, connected to the universe was my phone through my cell service, but anything that was hardwired to the house was gone. What you got there, Sharon?
What I have here is and I know I've shared it before, but I want to talk a little bit about this while we're waiting on everyone. This was an anniversary gift that I made for my husband for our 5th anniversary. That's the 5 there. And I always include a number in a project for each year. And I don't always do it for anniversaries. Sometimes it's for his birthday. But I make him one project a year, and I should pull them all out one day and share them because they all have this sort of vibe. But what I did was I made this shipwreck bottle and I turned it into a frame. So we're on our 8th year right now. So I made this years ago, obviously, and it was so much fun. And you're not going to believe what some of this is. Some of this is actually embossing powder. There's rust paste, but there's a way to make that. This is a metal plate that says 2 people who belong together make a world. And I mean, it's got everything from string to puzzle pieces. There's drone parts because I always dig in his trash when I make him something.
Sharon, quick heads up. Lexi said it's showing the stream as unlisted.
Oh my goodness. Well, I wondered why it wasn't working, and I went to it. Let me take this moment. I'm going to put you on and let you share what you've got going on.
Oh,
that's why we couldn't find it.
Let me tell my story first.
Okay, you do that.
Okay, I'll tell my story. Okay, so in case you didn't know, my desk is extremely small and I move a lot. So funny thing happened. Sharon sends me the message with the list of things that we needed to obtain, in order to start this project. Now, I already had my bottle, but I was doing laundry, and I love doing laundry. That's one of my favorite things to do. I know I really don't understand why I'm like that, but somebody, I don't know who, but somebody left tissues in their pocket. And that tissue came out, and when I saw it, the first time that I saw it, it was like turned like this. Well, Sharon was explaining to me that we were going to make something that looks kind of like barnacles. So don't throw away your tissues if they accidentally get washed and dried. And then there was the other issue. She said to bring toilet paper. All right, fine. I come up to my craft room is in the guest room, and there's a bathroom. And the stash of toilet paper underneath that sink had kind of been depleted. And instead of, the person who took the last roll from underneath the sink, I won't name that person, but it wasn't me. Well, I had to go down 2 flights of steps. So when I brought toilet paper up, I told Sharon I came prepared. I had a 9-roll pack. And we're going to be rolling.
That's funny. Okay, so I think I fixed it. I'm surprised it didn't knock me out, actually. I don't know why it was doing that. And I seem to be having...
It just popped up in my alerts just now.
Oh, did it? Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay. I'm shocked it didn't knock us out. So that's why we couldn't find it. That makes more sense. Um, I keep having to reset my internet today too. There is something happening with the world. In the world, we don't even live in the
Hi,
same
Polly
area.
Girl. Hi,
Hey,
Tracy.
Kylie. Hi,
Julie
Tracy.
Parker.
Hey,
We're
Julie.
so
Hey,
glad you're
Lexi.
here. We've had a few technical difficulties and we started just a few minutes early, but I promise you haven't missed anything other than the struggle sometimes is very real.
It so is. Okay, so first of all,
Hi,
I would like
Trish.
to, if you guys are interested, hey Trish, how's Evie doing? And how are you? I hope you're doing well. I'm so glad you all made it here. And thanks for the heads up, Lexi. I appreciate it. Okay,
And, I'm,
so
and everybody's starting to hit the thumbs up too. So,
oh
yay.
perfect. So, as I was saying, this was an anniversary gift for my husband. I always include some sort of a little number, and this hangs on here in its frame, and it sits on his desk. And that was from one of our first dates, which is so much fun. And I want to kind of tell you there's so many weird things going on here. This is super mixed media. I use drone parts, there's little propellers, there's stars, puzzle pieces, there's jewelry, twine, a bit of netting. This is a chess piece with a ball of tape. That's tape, masking tape. And this little plastic thing that I had, I put on the front of it and then I covered it with texture paste and created a
Julie,
lid
I agree.
that
It is
fits.
a very good thing to have that pop up in the chat. We're not real sure why it did not pop up in, you know, the social
That's
media like it should have.
that's why I posted it on our thread and back on my page because I saw it wasn't showing up. Yeah.
Yes.
So I do want to do this one a little bit differently on my new bottle, but I have a haul to share first. Are you guys ready? Just a little haul. And I would like to know if you guys know what this is. It's Honeywell.
Go ahead and go single screen.
Okay. Okay. So it's Honeywell, and I got two of them. I got one for Lisa, and they had more. I wish I would have got more because this paper is the crispiest, thinnest, most beautiful. It's got a different shape on each side, kind of like fax paper, but it's different. And it's got these numbers on it, and it's old. Um, and I think it's going to be so much fun to play with. Not with this project. I just thought it was really cool, but who knows what this is? Because I have no idea. It's for
I,
some specific machine.
it had to have been. My thought is it may have been now. Seeing the inside of it, it makes me wonder if it was like, when they did a cardiac, read, if it was a graph paper for that. Maybe we need to
Oh,
research. I'll have to take pictures of that. Take pictures and send it to me, and I'll give it to my nerd downstairs
okay.
because he
Maybe
likes
it is
looking.
medical. I
He
don't know.
loves looking for things that are odd.
Look at this. US presidents. I just thought it was so cool. There's Reagan. And then and these are really thick, both of them. I got a few things from my grandma. I got a Van Gogh book at the thrift store. And I got a music book as well. I
Yes,
got a
Oda, that
huge.
was the first thing I said is Honeywell makes, yeah, they make thermostats. I mean, they are like the
Oh,
gurus in thermostats, but I
well.
don't know what else they've done along the way.
Yeah, it's weird. And the numbers start at 5. They don't start at 1. It's so weird. My grandmother, I got some stuff from my grandmother. Well, my mom gave to me from grandma. Check her out. She's even got that sort of iridescent thing going on. She's so old, and she looks like she's wearing an Asian style uh, shirt here. And I love her little round glasses. And I think I'm gonna offer her as a in our traveling show package coming up, and also this. This is a needle book with all these really cool little art deco things inside, but check this out. I'm going to print that off too. And I think this is our guy that shoots out of the cannon sort of page. And it could be a little book printed out on some cardstock. Wouldn't that be fun?
I love it.
I do too. And it's the
After we
perfect
talked about
colors,
those,
really.
I looked at mine, and mine does not have as many colors, but it's still very pretty inside. So we could probably use them interchangeably.
Oh
with
yeah.
that. But now mine on the outside, the one that I had downstairs that Bill scanned, it is like a little sewing circle.
Hey Becky,
Becky,
good to
hello.
see ya.
We
Um,
we won't tell that you're lurking. It's okay.
it's totally
You
fine.
just lurk.
The other thing I have a question about, this guy comes to our house and we let him dig in our yard with he has a metal detector, and he's found all kinds of cool rusty bits for me. But he found this, and it is carnival glass. It's got that iridescent sheen. And at first I thought that is an egg cup, right? And it's a
No,
hole. I mean,
it's
there's
an
no,
eyeglass washer.
is it
It's
really?
for what I have a blue one. It's for washing your eye out. If you
Really?
got
Well, and I was
debris
thinking you
in your
can't,
eye, that's
it-
exactly what it is. It's not an
it's
egg cup. It is
wow.
an eye wash cup.
See, I knew it wasn't an egg cup because it's oval and it wouldn't fit in there.
Right.
And I
But put
knew.
it up to your eye and that's the way they were designed back in the day.
So what the other thing I was thinking of was maybe for like absinthe, where they put the sugar cube over it on the pick. And I mean, so like a small amount of liquid. Isn't it beautiful? It's
It is.
beautiful.
They're
That,
cool pieces. They're fun to find.
not a chip in it, and it was
Ooh,
buried
Julie
in the
Parker has a
ground.
blue one too. Yeah,
Really?
that's something that I'll probably hold on to. I've got that, and I've got a small jar, or like a words are hard, like Darcy says. Not a pharmacy bottle. Bill's grandmother had a pharmacy bottle that had the label of one of the older pharmacies in our area, and it said peppermint oil, and it still had a little bit in it. And then I have that little blue thing, and I have them sitting together. Oh, that's cool.
Well, this I've had for ages. It is an egg cup, and I always keep it in my on my desk. For whatever reason, I don't really store anything specific in it. It's just while I'm working, sort of a thing. Isn't that cool? And it's lightweight aluminum. So I'm going to set those together. Kylie said it looks like some sort of plotter chart paper. Hey, there is an idea. Sorry, my camera I need a new gimbal.
I keep
Uh,
going back to some type of graph. With it starting at five,
yes,
it
yes.
feels to me like it's some type of graph, and five was the baseline for that first
Oh,
line.
hey, Margalo. She said I wash too. Um, Glad to have you here. So yeah, I mean, good to know that that's an eye wash cup, and I am thinking maybe a survey. When they do the surveys, and they maybe something like that, like yeah, like charting stuff.
It was
Yeah,
probably it's probably from the 80s, maybe.
you
If I
think
had
so?
to guess, it's probably from the
No,
mid 80s.
these boxes are older than that. Come on, they're
Well,
the
you
paper.
take pictures of everything, and we'll get Mr. Bill to
Okay,
look it up.
okay.
We'll give Mr. Bill an assignment.
So I cut this box up because I'm going to use it. But yeah, anyway. Um, okay, so let's get down to it with our bottles, because that's going to be fun. I'm going to do mine a little bit different this time, but we're going to use the similar techniques. I kind of want a different color, and I'm going to add some barnacles this time. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Now, you could do this on little bottles. You could do it on big bottles. You could do it on a jar. But the very first thing that we're going to do is a super secret mission. Are you ready? This is the one I'm going to use today. We are going to write a love note to ourselves. It is February. We all need a good pick me up, a good boost. And we need to remember that we are enough. And I know that we do talk about things like that on this channel a lot, where it should be therapeutic what you're doing. It should feel good. But I want you to, every time you look at your bottle, I want you to remember that you have a note in there for yourself, and remember to have confidence and love yourself and love your life. So that'll be done off camera. And then when we seal our bottles up, or I mean, you could just do the cork and have it go in and be able to take it out. Or it could be sealed in there. It's in there. It's your note to you. So
All right.
the other
Kylie.
thing we can do is leave a window so we can see the note, so we don't have to cover the whole thing. If you'd like to see that rolled up message in a bottle in there, just as a reminder, but I'll probably cover my whole bottle. That's what I do. Okay, so let's read some comments.
Yes, Kylie said she thinks it's for recording a batch process for industrial ovens, an environmental chamber, and pharmaceutical equipment.
Oh,
Found both the papers and the machines on eBay.
really?
Yay!
Oh
Very
my
good,
goodness, that
very
was
good.
quick. I don't know how you found that so quick. That is amazing. It won't let me post it here. It's a strip chart recorder, paper replacement. That's so funny. I don't know how to make people uh they're so they
You
can
don't
post
know how to
links
put them
there,
in
but I will.
timeout. Well, I
No,
have
no,
not put anybody in timeout because I don't know how.
not that. No, the when it's lit up in red so that they can do admin stuff and post links. I don't know how to do it. I'll figure it out. I just have never thought about it before. Okay, so everybody got their bottle? We're going to talk about options, but first let's cover our bottles, shall we? Um, you don't have to have anything fancy for this. You could use tissue paper, not wrapping paper, any sort of thin paper. It could be the backs of your napkins. What I did was I went through my scraps and pulled out a bunch of stuff here, and it's all really thin stuff. You know, some of this is the backs of napkins that have been peeled off, or even wadded up pieces like this that have been used in gift wrapping or whatever. I've got some that have been printed on, just stuff like that. And
Yes,
just make sure it's
Lexi.
thin. Um,
Lexi's asking, did we see the Makers Creative Collab prompt for the month? The prompt for the month is seal it.
Seal it.
So we're gonna seal our bottles. So yes,
Okay.
we're gonna call that. Yes, I think it would. Hey, it's up to interpretation. Sorry, folks. Words are really hard today. I started the day with a migraine, so if my words are not coming out, just know that that's probably why it's worse
This
than usual.
this is school glue and water. Let's put it on both screens because we're just going to be doing a bit of glue in here. Oh, moderator status links can put. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I really don't know how to, but I'll figure it out. How to make people a moderator so that they can post links. Because
Right.
I don't care. Y'all
If you
can be
do that,
moderators.
then when I'm slack and don't catch something, you have somebody that's more technical savvy and can type much faster
Yeah,
that
yeah.
can help us out. Right, Kylie?
Thank you for looking that up, ladies. So this
I
is,
know, isn't that
I just keep it
amazing?
on my desk.
And
You're
I've
going to
got
need a
my
glue
dirty
brush.
little.
I know I didn't. What's this one? Something a little softer. Make sure your glue brush is going to work. This is such a big bottle. So it's just like a 50-50 mix. You can use Mod Podge if you want, just water it down a little bit. All we're trying to do is get a layer on our bottle. That's it. And this is going to create a surface that we can work on that things will glue to more easily. So make sure you've got wrinkles on there. Don't try to, wad it up if you want. Any way you want to do it. I've got some super scraps here. We're going to be painting these so the color doesn't matter. So when you go to actually create these, like when you go to put your 3D bits on, what I want you to do is, think about how it's going to look in a different color because we're going to paint these over. So whatever color your 3D bits are going to be, and I'll share some ideas about what to use. It doesn't matter because they're going to get painted. And I'd like us to work on these independently until we get together again, and we'll throw in an extra stream. Lisa and I talked about it. How do you guys feel about Valentine's Day?
Or an earlier time so that if your sweetheart wants to take you to dinner, you're not being
it would be
thrown
early.
off schedule if you're on the East Coast.
Right.
Because our guys get hungry about 5 o'clock. By 6 o'clock they're famished. So they think they're gonna melt and blow away. So yeah. Julie Parker, to answer your question, I
So
do
we
have
don't
the
have
wine
to.
bottle, but there is no wine in it, and I didn't even consume the wine. I had to borrow it from a friend, so to speak. She might get it back in the end. I don't know. We'll see how it turns out because she's like a mermaid girl. Tracy,
Oh,
she's like my mermaid girl. I mean, anything mermaid colors, magical, sparkly. That's what she likes. So she might actually get it for her birthday. Hi,
well,
Mariah. Thanks
hey,
for stopping
Mariah.
in.
Yeah. This is going to be so much fun once it's done. And I may not cover the whole thing depending on how much time it takes. Watching me glue paper, wrinkly paper to a bottle is probably not that much fun. But I have a pile of things here to share, some ideas. You can go any style you want with this bottle. I mean, if you like mermaids, put mermaids on it. If you want it to be a pearly white color with iridescence, then do it and cover it in pearls. But we're just talking about the base here, and then you go from there with your style.
One thing that I think I was thinking about mermaid, and I thought about the ones that Tracy had made and how cute they were.
Yes.
And then I started going through my big box D-stash from Darcy, and
Uh-huh.
I actually got some die cuts that are mermaids, and I
Oh,
don't even know how to use die cuts, so it's gonna be a learning curve, but I'm
do you
thinking,
have
okay,
enough that you could stack them up and make them thicker so that you can add them to your bottle? I mean, because
well,
you
they're
want things that are a little
no, they're the
thicker.
actual die cuts, the thing you cut the paper with.
Oh,
I've
the
got folders. I
dies.
just don't right.
Oh,
I
so you
just
can
don't
make a
have a
whole bunch of
machine
them.
for doing that.
So do you have a big shot or anything? Like a
No. If I did,
Oh,
I'd know what to do with it.
okay.
I've got folders, but I do have rolling pins.
I don't think you can use a rolling pin with the dies, the actual dies. I'm not doing the
Okay.
bottom yet because I want to be able to set it down. I'll do that last. Um, just getting some texture on here. And don't worry if you don't think it's sticking well enough, you're going to end up with a layer of texture paste over this anyway. What we're doing is we're just prepping the
Oh,
surface, kind of like adding gesso to a canvas. This
note
just
to you,
really
note,
helps.
ladies, do not put your finger in a wine bottle because it might not end well for you. I'm sitting here thinking, oh no, my finger's stuck.
This is a coffee filter.
uh,
Coffee filter would be as thick as I would go, though.
oh,
Yeah, yeah. Is your finger really stuck still?
it was. It
Okay.
was stuck.
It's like
And
a
it was a good
Chinese
finger
torture device.
too. It was a good finger. It wasn't one that had any cuts, nicks. It wasn't one that was black and blue from sticking it to
Eh,
check blood sugar. I mean,
funny.
it was a good finger. I'm a bad patient in that, you know, when you have problems with your hands, sometimes you have things that are crazy, right?
Yeah.
So
Mine are really bad right now.
I have nerve damage to my middle finger. So I can stick it all day long and not even feel it.
Oh,
And
really?
I know when I go to see the rheumatologist, he's gonna have something to say about it probably, but we'll see. We'll see what
Ah,
happens.
no, 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 no. This is supposed to be a nonstick paper I'm sitting on here. Can't
Yeah,
have that.
I should have gotten
I
nonstick
need to
paper
do
out,
this.
but I
So,
didn't.
yeah,
So
that's a good idea.
I'll just play
Make
with
sure it
this
doesn't
part,
stick.
and you see, I'm using my ratty brush. It looks like
Actually gonna do
seven.
this so it's not in my
It's been
way.
on about 7 bad journeys.
This is a mixture of the napkin backs. That's what stuck to this because it's so delicate. But I want to add texture. So I want to make sure I get wrinkles and folds and you know, it's a good way to start. Just don't touch it. You'll get it all over you. Shouldn't take too long to dry though. That's the bonus.
Hey, Julie Parker, if you run across that video, send it to me because I need to get I've got all kinds of dyes. I mean, people have given me dyes, and I definitely need to learn how to use them.
Might be able to use a pasta machine.
Well, I might just need to put it in the cart.
You might.
I have to wait till April to buy anything else, though. I have to wait till my birthday comes
I've
to
got
buy anything else
a
big.
I've got a big shot that I got secondhand. Look in your local buy and sell groups.
Yeah, I've been watching, but people are selling some rough stuff. I mean, they'll say, "Oh, but the handle falls off." Well, if the
You
handle
just
falls
put a new
off, then I
screw in
don't.
it.
Yeah, but
My
I'm not gonna pay them $25 and $30 for something I'm gonna have to fix.
You just don't have to. I mean, there's a screw that goes in it. They just don't have the screw in it. That's my screw comes out once in a while because you're turning it, so it's unwinding sometimes. Does anybody else have that problem?
I've got some loose screws, but I don't think I've had any to fall out. I know. I should
Wait a
be
minute.
serious.
Put a cork in it and hold the cork. Oh, I could do this with my bottle. Yeah. Um, Malia, hello, welcome. Uh, leap through sea bunnies. I'm stumped. I'm so confused. I missed something. Um, seal leaping, Victorian lady leaping to her lover.
Oh, that would be cool.
uh, what are your thoughts on the love leap and seal it? It was one you came up with. Love leap and seal it. You mean as a collaboration hashtag or for what? Because if it was one that we came up with, it was Lisa, I think, during that time, if that's what you're talking about. Because I
Well,
don't know, or
don't
I don't
I don't
remember.
know. I'm like the one with short-term memory issues, so don't ask me.
You
I
do
would
it,
have
girl.
to. I do have notes though. I can refer to the notes, but
I have so many notes that I lose what I noted
right. Well, we
constantly.
got to get you using. We got to get you on the post-it note system.
Well, I have notebooks that I make. So
Yeah, we were before you came in, Mariah. We were talking about that because Lexi asked if that would be putting the message in the bottle and then sealing the bottle, if that would be if that would qualify as sealing it, and I think
oh
it
yeah.
does.
So yeah, we're writing a love note to ourselves. And it could be a list of goals, but I wouldn't go too deep in the goals because then every time you look at the bottle, if you didn't meet those goals, it's going to hurt your feelings. You're going to hurt yourself. But it could be a list of things that you love about yourself. It could be things you'd like to do in the next year. But it's a love note to yourself that you're putting in there. And I think it's really special. So even if no one can see the note in there, it's there every time you look at your project. I think it's a good idea. I think it's pretty wonderful.
I
We all
think
need
that
that.
I think that if I do this one with the mermaid, I will put a note in for my daughter because and I'll tell her what it says after
Oh,
she
that's
graduates from
sweet.
nursing school. So
I think
I
that's a great
I
idea.
think that I'll make a picture of it and I'll put it on my calendar so that I won't forget. And the day that she graduates, I'm gonna tell her that there was a message, in her bottle all along,
That's a
and let
great
her
idea. I love it.
see
Then
if
every
she
time she looks at it, it'll be special, extra special. Yeah, that's so cool. So I
exactly.
think I'm going to end up putting twine around this handle right here. So I'm not going to bother putting paper on it. I'm just going to end up wrapping it with twine anyway. So, but that'll be a last thing because, this is going to get layers of paint. It's going to get 3D bits. And in a minute, I will pull out this tray of 3D bit suggestions because it doesn't have to be anything special. If you don't have shells, don't worry about it. We're going to make some barnacles today, hopefully. I know I wasn't going to cover this whole thing, but it's actually not taking very long. And you don't have to make barnacles. You could do anything you want. We talked about the onion skin bag, that like a fishnet almost. A layer of that is fun. And I did bring some up, and that is good to put on the base layer as well. And if you guys, that was great to put everything in catch.
You see that I've put my my washed and dried Kleenex tissue roll. I put it on there already.
So Malia said it's worth $25 to $30 with a screw missing. I totally agree, and that's for you, Lisa. The machine. So if you find one again, do that. Um, uh,
I will keep my eyes out. I mean, and I think most people say the Big Shot is the easiest to use. Is that correct? Because I do have
it's the
problems
one you
with.
want. Yeah.
I have that difficulty with my hands. Being able to grip stuff. So
Mariah said nope, it was this month and it was yours. Oh, okay. See, I've slept since then. That's the thing.
and hey,
That's what my
Mariah,
mama
I was
says.
up for 41 whole hours one day
She
last
was.
week.
She really
It was
was.
ugly. It was so ugly. It's bad when I had not done that. I had the only time I had ever stayed up that long because I'm a sleeper. I mean, I'm like a rolling up at 10:30 at night, ready to go to bed, unless something really good's happening. And the only time that I can remember staying up that long was when I worked at a facility for severe and profoundly retarded children. It was a residential facility, and when it snowed and people couldn't come in, I was a supervisor. I had to cover their shifts, and I was there for 3 whole days. Luckily, we were able to, me and the person that I was working with, we were able to switch, kind of trade off, and they let us sleep like for 2 to 3 hours or nap, as we could. But I mean, that was a situation where you never knew what you were going to be dealing with from one night to the next. If the children were sleeping, they were sleeping. If they weren't, and on those days that there were full moons, Lord help us all. We had one kid that would be up singing to the moon. I mean, he would dance
Wow.
and just be so
Okay.
overwhelmed with energy. Crazy,
So I'm going to
crazy
go
stuff.
single screen and we're going to talk about barnacles next. I can't lay it down, so I'm going to have to do it on these sort of areas. But what I want to do is kind of decide. Now I've got a kind of a base layer on here. We're going to let that dry and I'll fill in some
I
spots
was going
and
to say, if you'll go to a single screen, they won't have to watch me try to manhandle this bottle with my left hand. It's a big
Tracy
one.
said, if anyone
You
needs
should have
shells,
you should have
please
told
let
me
me
to think
know.
about that. That the size of the bottle would matter.
Well, I mean, I pulled these ones out because you could actually do a teeny tiny bottle. You use old liquids. I've had this one forever. It was a Grand Marnier. I think this would be really cute because it's already got that little wax seal there, and it would just be a lot of fun. I'm actually going to set this aside for just a second, and we'll talk about before we start our barnacles. I'm going to let that dry for a little bit, just real quick. Here are some things that you might want to get. Let me get this in water. So fishnet, this is really good to look like fishnet and to go over your bottle as a kind of a next layer. If you want to do this before barnacles, that's great. And it kind of depends on where you place everything. You might just decide you want a little bit of this. It's going to get painted and it's going to get texture paste or embossing powder or whatever over it. If you use embossing powder though, that's plastic. Remember, it'll melt and you're not going to have perfection. I did use a lot of embossing powder on this one. The blue, all embossing powder. The copper here and there is embossing powder. I did it because it's so textured. Even if you paint over it, you end up with a fun texture. If you just, kind of put school glue on it, throw some embossing powder on it, use your heat gun, and it will actually bubble the school glue, so you end up getting more corrosion, which is so fun, I think. So there's those. And then some other things that you might, I have all of these lovely pieces that I make with my mold, but if you don't have those, I also have these ones. Some of them are clay. But you can also use things like, here's the extra rusty pieces from my most recent video. um, made with these wood pieces. Those are great. If you've got any of the, you know, wood chip pieces, these are actual rusty pieces. You can use things like that. Um, I've
That looks
got
like some of the
this
stuff
one was
I
a
pick
chest
up.
piece.
That looks like some of the stuff that we pick up when we metal detect.
Yeah, that's
Some
the
of
kind of
the
stuff you want.
abandoned,
Yeah.
or lost, especially when we're out in something that used to be a farm field. We find a lot of nuts and bolts, metal pieces.
So you might want to make a lid. This is a chess piece, a plastic chess piece with a ball at the bottom that I put on a like a I don't know, it was like a milk cap or something. I don't know what it was. So I glued it together, the two plastic pieces, and then I put that tape ball on there, and then I covered that with embossing powder and texture paste and all kinds of stuff. So it looks like a corroded real sort of lid. Um, that in mind, you can use all kinds of weird things for your lids. There's a on a bottle cap. It's a wood piece. This is a broken, I don't know, something my mom brought. It came from a Christmas ornament, and it looks like a lid. You could use little handles from stuff. Um, you can use
Bits
these
and bobs.
things. These are wooden pieces I use in a lot of my projects, and they were checker pieces, and they're wood, and I love them. They have the swirl on it. But there's different ways to, you can actually use a knob, or, just look through your stuff and see what you've got to make unless you just want to use the cork, but you can put it all on the cork and kind of go crazy, you know, go
So,
nuts.
while you were telling us about the different things, Tracy had said that she's making, instead of doing a bottle, she's making a vase, and she's going to be using a mold to make that.
Oh, I think that's wonderful. That's a great idea. I do have styrofoam. Styrofoam's great for a lid. I mean, I could have, instead of a tape ball, I certainly could have used something like that, because you're going to cover it with texture paste and all kinds of stuff. So it doesn't really matter. And this feels solid, does not feel like tape. But there's lots of suggestions here. I've got some broken fan pieces. Those might be really cool on the front. I'm not sure which way I'll go, but I'm going to work intuitively and just let the bottle kind of tell me what it wants.
I'm sitting here putting tissue on the outside of a smaller bottle. It was actually,
Uh-huh.
Kylie, you're going to be proud of me. I tried clotted cream. I found it at one of our local healthier stores, healthier choice food stores. And so I didn't get to try it when I was in Scotland. And I thought, okay, I'm going to try this. So I brought it home, and this was the bottle that it came in, and it was so cute. And it's different. It's very different from what I expected it to be. I didn't expect it. I expected it to be sweet, and it's not. But I
Well,
loved it
yeah.
on bagels. I mean, it's just different than, like, it's like whipped cream without the sugar. But it was nice. It was very nice.
So the barnacles,
Yes.
as far as that goes, if you have air dry clay, you could use the napkins or the scrappy tissue that you have. You roll it into a little circle. It's got glue on it already. And then you can use a paintbrush or a stylus or whatever, and then just put them where you want them, and you may have to use your stylus. I don't know if you guys can see that. Your stylus, like when you get it on there, and make sure there's lots of glue. But that's a great way to do that. This is also the stage where, when this is dry, you can put, we're not adding our 3D bits yet. We're adding like the base layers, but you could add a texture paste with a stencil or some crackle paste even, which is great fun. But I'm going to concentrate on some barnacles first, and I think I'm going to do clay, and I'm going to at least try it.
Sorry, I know I have notifications, and I don't know how to turn them off from
That's
on this
okay.
device. So
I think mine is doing it.
is it yours? Okay, I thought it was mine. So okay. So Uda says that the handles do fall out of the It's real
Yes, they
common
do.
for
They do.
the screws to come out of the handles. Sounds like a poor design to me, but that
Oh,
if
thank you,
hey,
Kylie.
we can make that work. And then Kylie say, yeah, she loves clotted cream. Somebody that was from the UK that was at the conference, they had gone just around the corner and had I don't know if I can say it like she did, but she said, "You don't know what you missed. You should have been there for that proper tea." And I loved it. And she had pictures and she showed me each little picture, of the different things because it was basically what I would equate to a five-course meal. They bring you this, they bring you that, everything comes in really small portions. But it's an experience.
Uda said her daughter told her that drinking the wine first is makes it more
It
fun.
would be more fun than just, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, my daughter's the one that drank the wine on this one, but that's all right. She can get her wine bottle back
So all I'm going to do here is
because I
grab
was
a
in search of a bottle, and I thought I was
Samantha.
going to use one I had found when I was out behind a neighbor's property that had the man had died and his family had sold off the property, but in our area, and I know a lot of places in the UK, usually people would just take the things that they could not burn in a burn barrel or in a fire. They would take it to the back of their properties and they would just leave it there. So, we found his bottle pile and there were some really neat things in there. And I found like an old flask that was prior to Prohibition, which in the States was a big deal. But they used to, just go and get their flask filled and carry it around in their pocket. So, and there was a lot of liquor made here locally. There lots of vineyards and lots of liquor. So, we're right around an area that it was bootlegging was a big thing. It was a big thing. You've got a ceramic tool.
I do. I use them for all kinds of things, but this
You
is
know, I have
from my
those
years
too.
of ceramics.
Well,
Um,
that's how come I have them is because we had a ceramic shop and that was in with mom's
let
tools
me
and I had my
see
own.
here
So
one. That'll
now I
work.
have two sets of everything.
Yeah, I use them in my wax too downstairs. So I have some upstairs and some downstairs. So what I'm doing here is I'm just making some little barnacles and I'm putting them on this piece of paper. And I will end up, I'm just making an abstract barnacle here. It doesn't have to be perfect. I know they have kind of little lines around them. There's a hole. But, this is an abstract piece. So I think it'll be fun to do it this way.
Thank you, Julie Parker. She's found me a video to watch.
Oh, cool.
So I will
About
be
the
experimenting with that.
So then after these dry, I'll just I want to push that one down a little bit. It's
Hi,
got to.
Cindy Duncanart from Ohio.
Hey, Cindy.
Welcome.
Welcome.
We are in the process of making bottles that look like they were thrown off in a shipwreck and found at the bottom of the ocean, and they hold many, many treasures and secrets.
So I'm gonna make us double screen. You're listening to Lisa now.
And
Um,
Lisa's just sitting here because I've run out of
okay.
places to put things. So,
Okay.
if you need to go, I
There we
will
go.
show. Yeah, I've got my. I don't know if I turn my camera, it's going to go sideways and it's going to be ugly. But let me see if I
You're
can get
fine.
it turned. Let
You're
me just
fine.
play with this. If I make
Okay.
put it up there and we'll see what we get.
So
Okay.
I do have lots of shells, but I don't have barnacles. That's kind of why I was thinking this might be fun. And doing it with the paper, I think will look fine in the end as well. It's just, it looks more like a bird's nest to me. There are probably other ways you can make barnacles, I'm sure. But I think this would be fun to just have a few on there. I'm going to try to do more colors on this one this time. But I kind of want to wrap it around the neck, the barnacles, and maybe do a little cluster down the side. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Now, are you going to put the barnacles on before you put your net on or after?
After. So I'm just waiting for that to dry a little bit before I throw my net on. Um, and I didn't cut. I left my net as a loop, so I could probably just drape it over. And then what I'll do is add some texture paste at that point. But I'm just letting that have a moment while I fiddle with these. I know they don't look like barnacles, but we're
We're going
trying.
to pause for a moment of silence while the barnacles sit and think about themselves and wait to become what they are truly meant to be.
Well, I am working intuitively. So, I mean, I almost had a plan. I'm going to let the bottle speak to me. I really kind of
Thank
want
you,
it in the end
Cindy.
to have that
Cindy
kind of,
likes the barnacles.
oh, thank you. I don't usually pull out the clay here.
You
I
can,
mean, it
if you
works
do
plastic.
not have a tool like that, I feel pretty certain
Use
you could
anything.
probably use a food skewer.
Yeah, you could. You could use anything. You use a needle or a straight pin would work.
Sharon,
And I'm making
have
them
you,
different sizes.
you know the pony beads that you used to use when you were a kid?
Oh yeah, those
Have you
might work.
tried those?
Those
Because I
might
got a
work.
jar full of them. I don't know what to do with them.
Those would be fine. I mean, you're going to get crusty on your bottle. I mean, we're going to get crusty with them. So it doesn't really matter that I'm putting all these textures on there. They may or may not show up. I just want the idea of a barnacle, basically. I just want to make a few.
See, Tracy said she knew she had been saving barnacles for the right project, and you are going to nail it. We have talked about you, Tracy. We know
This is up your
your
alley.
bottle is going to be brilliant because
Yeah.
you got that mermaid vibe going. You've got the shells, all the beautiful
It's all
shells
her
that you
favorite
select.
things.
So
Yeah.
yeah, we're going to be anxious to see what you do.
So different sizes. Kind of making them too round. I don't really like that one.
Cindy, I agree. I can't type to start with. So when you get poor type to text, and then you get autocorrect and a slow brain,
My brain's on
well, we'll just leave that
autocorrect.
there.
Wonder if I put the lines in first and then do the hole. So let me see. I just want to
No,
see.
Tracy, don't get the wrong idea. I do not mean to put pressure on you. You know me. You know better than that. But we just know that it's going to be beautiful. That's what we're looking for. We're going to be excited about it.
This
Lexi,
project is definitely
don't make me
Tracy-fied.
put you in time out.
What?
It, yeah, Lexi said that our
Your
expectations of
expectations.
Tracy's bottle was going to be sky high, and I was telling her don't make me put you in time out, but
Oh, yeah.
no, we mean this in a loving way and not a hurtful way because we know
There.
she might have been born in the ocean and grew some legs. I'm telling you,
She
the
was a
girl
mermaid. Yes,
loves
yes.
the salt water.
So
And
I might do a bit of both and add these ones toward the end, um, before I put the final coats of paint on because they have more detail. So we'll see how I mean, if I just work along here. These are ugly, but they'll get better.
Julie Parker, I didn't have a bottle either. I had to go to a friend. I had to go to my daughter's house to find a bottle. But you can do a jar. You can do
A box. You
you
do a
can just
box.
do anything really. You can use the same technique. This technique that she's teaching is not unique to bottles. It could go on a box. It could be a tin can, which would be pretty
Two,
darn cute.
4, 6, 8. I'm gonna
You
make
can
two
you
more of
can take
these.
and kind of make it into what suits your use. Make it useful, make it something you're going to enjoy looking at, and you know have a special place you can put it.
But don't forget to write that love note to yourself and put inside
That's correct.
because it's
That's correct.
February and it's not just about the love of the other loves in our life. We need to remember about ourselves and our well-being and happiness. So that's why the love note. One more of these, and then if
While
I
you're
need to make more
finishing up
later,
with
I can.
barnacles, if you want to turn my camera on
Sure.
a minute, I'll show something while you're finishing up with
There you go.
barnacles, talking about self-love. All right, so let's make sure my camera's in good position. Yes. Okay. Yeah, it looks lovely. Let's get it right up here. It can hang out on the toilet paper. I was on
The
I,
toilet
hey, Vanna could do it.
Yeah.
So I love looking at Pinterest and I like looking for new ideas. And I found this one. It was actually just taking newsprint and using it to make a paper heart, and then you stitch around it. And I did that. It was pretty easy. I splattered some paint. Matter of fact, this is the gold paint that my friend Sharon sent me for Christmas. And I splattered it, and then I took some napkin, just something as simple. Matter of fact, I had gotten these at the thrift store, a whole full pack of them for $1. And so I used a piece of that to decorate with. And then this was something that had come out of something that one of Zoe's, my youngest daughter's coworkers had given her last year for Valentine's, and I kept seeing them on the floor, and I pick them up and put them in my little jar with Valentine's. But I even made it to where I could stitch around it, but it didn't take probably 5 minutes. And if you wanted to make just a little something, for somebody special, it was very easy. I did go ahead and glue around the edges before I stitched it, and I left about a 2-inch opening, about a finger's width, so that I could stuff it. And I used just the backs off of my napkin that I had used to stuff it with, because I tried tissue paper and it was a little too crunchy. But there you have it, a little heart. And
Do
it
you
was easy.
do you remember the ones I did with wire and the 2 half pieces? Like I made the teardrops last year.
I do not.
Um, right here. What I did was I took textured pieces that I had, like scrappy leftovers, and I cut out
Hi,
teardrops,
Lee.
and I made a whole bucket full of them, and then I put them together like oddly, so I had odd shaped hearts,
Well,
and
maybe
then I
maybe we need to revisit that when we do the
yeah,
Valentine's special.
and then I put it on a piece of
Let's do that.
chipboard and wired it up with some beads, and I loved these the way they came out. It was a great way to use the little scraps too. Hey
Sharon, did you
Lee,
see that
I'm
Lee
so
had come
glad you
in?
made it.
I'm gonna tell you,
Oh,
my friend Lee, she nailed the most beautiful Junk Journal January art book that I have seen. I mean, I every day I was anxious to see what the next page was going to be like. And one of them even had a puppy accident. You know how accidents happen. You just don't know what you're going to do, and you're frantic because you planned to use what you thought was going to be okay, and then you realize that your plan just has to be changed. Well, she
yeah.
rolled with it and she nailed it. It was the cutest page. I
Oh,
loved it.
you haven't seen it yet, so I will look for it.
She did a flip through on, I think, February the 1st. She did a flip through. So if you can find that,
Becky's
you'll see it
birthday.
all.
Did you know
Yeah.
Becky's birthday was February 1st? I just found that out today because I wasn't on Facebook. Becky, happy
Um,
birthday to you.
I should have
Lurking,
told you. I should have told you because I
yeah,
did see it. I wished her a
lurking
happy
and
birthday.
working from home. That's right. So I just cut it, this netting, and I'm just kind of draping it around on the glue that's already there. But what I'm going to do is take a bit of texture paste and spread it around and put my net on, and then I'll probably take a little more texture paste and put it out. This should be non-stick, I think. This silicone mat that I got for Christmas. So I might just use, let's see, which one?
Hey,
Um,
Becky, I think you could use. I expect that if you do the bottle thing, that you'll probably do some beading on it, won't you?
oh, beads would be great to use as for some of your textures. That's a great idea.
Have you been watching the paper beads that she's been posting up? Have you seen them?
I've seen some of them. Yeah,
They're gorgeous. They're
they are.
beautiful. I mean, they're definitely works of art.
You could probably make dry paper rolls into barnacles as well. I didn't even think about that. Like where you take a tube, roll it up, and then cut it into pieces. Um, but it would
Oh,
need
you
to
talking
be
about like scrolling? Are you talking about
yeah,
creating a paper scroll?
exactly. And then cut it up so that it turns into barnacles, but it would need to be a lot of paper. So you could probably use like magazine or whatever for that. I mean,
Becky, I will
remember,
go back and make sure I saw those. I did see your cute glasses and your birthday selfie, and it made me laugh because I thought she was having fun.
I did not see a
Definitely.
birthday selfie. I'm going to have to go look for that. I was kind of sick this week, guys. I'm sorry. I really haven't been on much. I have to have a biopsy. So I found out yesterday and I had a bunch of appointments. So that's all. And I will let you guys know what happens. It's probably nothing, but it could be. So we'll see.
Just send good vibrations out.
That's right.
That's what we're gonna ask for is good vibrations.
Yeah.
And if she crosses your mind, just know that she probably could use some kind thoughts.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
And we'll leave it at that. So we can
Yep.
get through that
That's all I'm saying. And
through this dream, right?
that's right. I just
Exactly.
want you guys to know that I could use some good
Yeah,
thoughts.
Julie. That too. Plenty of that. Yes, Trish, Becky is a funny person. Just she's like
Well,
me.
I will look
We
for that.
probably would be in trouble if we got together. They'd say, "Look, here comes trouble times two."
Yes,
And if we bring Sharon along, they'll say, "What
definitely.
is it?
Definitely.
Trouble times three or the Three Stooges?" But you have to laugh. You know,
Yep.
you have to laugh
Gotta have
because
fun.
you're not always going to get everything is not going to always be perfect. And
So,
if
Lisa, why
you,
don't you tell them about your new channel
yes, I would love
and what
to.
it's about, like your
So,
goal?
my new channel is Making It with Minglet, and on my new channel, I am really, doing crafting, but I'm also doing all kinds of things making. I have done one video where I take you to my kitchen and show you my refrigerator and things that I have learned to
Short
do.
videos, like to get you through.
It's like, if you know that you have health issues and you know that there are good days and bad days and you don't know when they're coming, it's really what my goal is to be there for people. I want to acknowledge, diseases and disorders that are invisible. People look at you and think you're fine. They think you're a drug seeker and all kinds of fun things like that. But the reality is there's a lot of people out there that feel very isolated. If it was not for YouTube and Facebook and these social media groups that reach out and meet needs that they have just for the interaction of someone who truly understands. Um, that's where I'm coming from with my channel. I want to help people, to be better, if they have to be by themselves, and sometimes that's the case. I want them to learn ways to be better and able to take care of themselves and how to, on a good day, plan ahead. Uh, for me, that's, a good day for me is when my hands will work, period. Some days they're stiff, they're swollen, and I can't grasp things.
Can I interrupt
So,
for a second?
sure.
Julie said she thought I was hedging her question earlier. What question? Did I miss it? It's possible.
Let me go back. I'll look.
Okay.
But
Just want to
that's
make
what
sure that
my channel is. Let's see.
Was it on Facebook? Because it sounds like it might have been on Facebook. It says earlier today, so I don't
Yeah,
think. Yeah, I just want to
just
make sure that I answer
understand.
whatever
I mean,
question
I've
I
been
need to
trying to
answer.
interact as well, in the chat, but sometimes when a lot of the chat comes in that group all at once, it takes me a little bit to process it because I
Yeah,
read
there was a
slow.
lot. So I
And
read through it.
I know she wouldn't have intentionally done that, but
Yeah,
she's carrying some weight right now that is a little bit distracting from art.
yeah.
But she hasn't given up on us, so we're not going
I'm
to give up
glad
on
to be
her.
doing this today, I would like to say. And now for some joy.
Hi, Miriam.
Hey, Miriam.
Snuck in.
Glad to have you back. So, that is a good, I mean, you don't have to put the whole thing on, but what I did was I took the texture paste. It's going to keep that on there. It's going to smooth it down. Make sure you
Hi,
get all your little
Barbara.
threads. I haven't done anything with the bottom yet, but I will. That'll be at the end, really. And I'm not really necessarily trying to cover the whole bottle. I just want to add some texture here and there. Hey, Barbara.
You will be leaving the net on, is that correct?
I'm leaving it on. Now you
Yes.
could use it and not leave it on, and peel it back off so that you just have that texture on there. You could also, if your bottle is flat enough, use a stencil to get some texture on there with some paste or crackle paste or whatever. It's really about the first layer. So don't think that this is what it's going to look like in the end. We're just going to add layer and layer of texture to get to our final goal here.
I think a lot of times, Sharon, when you create these multiple stage things, because you had been, kind of putting it down into a small capsule, basically, for us to see, through the collaborations, I think that we've missed some of these basics of how you actually start building those layers. So
Yes,
for
I think
me,
it's important.
I mean,
Yeah.
I look at your work and I'm like, how'd she do that? I mean, I can
Yes.
do some things, but I can't do all things. And this is a great illustration of how you start building those textures. So if you come in late, we're glad you're here. Hi, Charmaine. Charmaine,
Hey,
we are working
Charmaine.
on our bottles, our shipwrecked bottles. We have
He's
dived
here.
down to the deep part of the ocean, and we are trying our best to do, to create something that's going to look magical in the end. So that being said, what we have started with is Sharon, we have taken our bottles and we have put in tissue paper. Mine got tissue paper with glue, and now they're hanging up out to dry. Sharon has used a net. It was like was it a lime or an avocado net?
That's from
Avocado.
avocado.
I was gonna say it has to be avocado because you're eating one every day.
Yeah,
Okay, so
it
she
was
took an
avocado.
avocado, the netting off an avocado, and she put it around. And what she's doing is coming back in and she's building some texture in addition to that, but she's not going to annihilate it at this point. What
Yeah,
she's
it
gonna
won't look like this really. I mean, in the end, we're going to have kind of a where you want to lean in and touch it and wonder how you did it. That's the kind of work I like to do. You guys know that about me. It's all about the layers, and those layers can be so simple as this, like the undersides. This is just a bit of crackle paste, and it's drying up, so I want to use it. It's getting kind of gummy on me, so it may or may not crackle, but it adds some pretty extreme texture. And in the end, if I want to sand some of this back, I can. Now I don't need it everywhere. You could also spread some texture paste on there and use something like this to get a net sort of and press it in. I didn't.
and she's just using a palette knife for this.
I am.
Miriam, the reason that I've got it's her on the screen is because I chose to do a wine bottle and I got my finger stuck in the hole and then it got to where I couldn't manage it. So I had to stick it somewhere to dry. I have another one going and it's starting to dry, but
Did you start another one?
I did another small one
Oh, good idea.
that I used for the clotted that the clotted cream come in. That's why I told the story about the clotted cream.
Oh,
But
okay.
the only thing that I have on my desk right now is my heart that I made earlier in the week, and you'll be seeing a video on that coming up, or it may be just a short.
So,
This is all new to me.
yeah, this is you know, it's a new project for me to do on camera, really.
Yes, yes, she's a summer girl. She has to have layers and layers and layers.
So I'm not putting it everywhere. I'm just putting it here and there. And if it crackles, it crackles. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And I may even take a bit of sandpaper to it if I don't like, or if I want to expose the net a little bit more when I go to the next layer. But I'm just kind of smoothing out, like there's some edges and stuff. I mean, that's how I got here. This is so mixed media. Um,
Okay, Sharon, Lexi and Kylie both are saying they have trouble trusting the process of the layers. Can you
oh,
tell us how
yes, I
ca-
can.
ha- explain to us, why we shouldn't be afraid to do something?
Well, if you want to have a result that makes you wonder how it's been done, you need the layers. And don't be afraid of those because you can always add another layer. It's not going to hurt anything to add 6 more layers. Even like if you don't like the color it came out or you don't like the texture it is, don't worry about it. You can cover it up with another layer. I mean, we're going to end up with so much texture on here that some of this will show, some of it will not. I can cover anything I don't like. Let's say I use some resin pieces like that and I decide I don't like this area right here. I mean, it's going to end up with so much stuff on it that this is really just the gesso, let's say. This is the base layer to build on. And if you don't experiment and play, you'll never learn new things either. I mean, I experiment and play quite often. Well, I don't like that. Because I like to. It's so much fun to experiment. That's one of my favorite things. That's where I find the most joy, don't you?
I think when I do step over to a side that I'm not comfortable in when it comes to trying to create art that's unique or different, I think that in doing that, I have actually, done some things that I was proud of that I can say, wow, if I hadn't have tried, I couldn't have done
Right.
this. And I don't know. I go back to some of the prompts that, with the Makers Creative Collab, I go back to some of the prompts, and one of them was, you had to draw and, you know, a sketch of a person. No, I had never had any training to do that. I could draw stick people, but I got serious about it and I started, looking at sketches and looking at materials that told, try to teach me how to do it. Like I remember the other day when Miriam was doing the charcoal. She started out with charcoal and she did that basic face shape. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, she made that look so easy. And the part that she made, Miriam, what's its name? I don't remember the name of it. But it is a beautiful, beautiful piece. And it just has this beautiful essence about it. And I mean, it didn't take her no time. She did it during a 2-hour stream.
Miriam, you're so talented.
It was
She
amazing.
amazes me. She amazes me. So what I'm going to do right now is just get a little globa. I know I should be using the tool, but I'm going to go ahead and put these on because like I said, I didn't know at what stage. I just want to kind of put some on like the neck right up in here. I'm not going to worry about this part at the bottom because I'm going to have a lot of stuff down there, but I'm just going to put some of these here and there and let them dry with this other paste I've got on here. Boy, I keep making a mess. Good thing that'll wipe off. So I just kind of want to put some here and there. Kind of like some barnacles grew on it under the sea, while it was
Exactly.
buried there. Yeah. And then those are going to get a layer of paint, so it doesn't really matter, but I really want them to stick out. That's kind of fun, I think. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to pull my camera up a little, even with this mess on my hands, because
And
I know you guys can't really see. How is of that. Sorry, I didn't mean to make anybody sick. Okay.
No,
So
no, that's good.
I am just adding here and there. And remember, I'm going to get a twine for the handle. So I want to kind of really get these on here in an sort of a random
So,
way.
Julie, are you a sketcher? Are you good at sketching? She said she sketched
Where'd it
Poppy
go?
once when she was supposed to be doing homework and started sketching him, and he moved away. So then she had to tell him, "Wait, stay there, Poppy." That's cute.
So there we go. I think that's enough paste on there, but I think that's fun to have, and I might make more of those. See how they stick out? And they didn't really look like barnacles on the paper, but look at them now. They sure do.
Wonder if you could use Cheerios.
Oh, maybe, but you might get rodents. Think about it.
Well, I mean,
Good. I
if
mean,
you sealed it, would they want them?
so I'll probably make more of those actually, and I might make them right on the bottle, even like put a layer of paste down, put a ball of clay on there, stick my little paintbrush tip in there, or a stylus with a hole with a round tip, and just kind of create them on there, but not have them as fancy as those ones because they're going to be surrounded by stuff. I need to wash my hands.
Julie said that she thinks she had talent back then, but didn't realize it. Julie,
Okay,
I can
Tracy.
relate to that because I took art in junior high school. I took it for one
Thanks,
semester,
Kylie.
or yeah, one semester, and I don't remember anything impressive about it at all. But yet I was raised in an artistic, I was raised around an artistic mother. All of her siblings just about, paint, or draw. Every one of them could sit and do something, but it came from them being encouraged as children. And so, that being said, if you got children and grandchildren, be an influencer, make sure that they have stuff and they play with art supplies
I do
so
that with
that
my
if they will develop that interest and
There it is.
appreciate art as they grow up.
I'm going to work on this while this is doing some drying.
Okay.
That went faster than I expected, that bit. I mean, it really did. I did not think I would be this far at this stage. I thought we might get to the netting, honestly. So that worked out pretty good. Thank you, Kylie. I appreciate that. Julie, you are very talented. You just have to practice. That's all. If you want to draw, you just have to practice. I haven't practiced in ages and ages. So, I do have some other air dry pieces here, air dry clay, and even some like plastic doily. That would be amazing as another layer before you start putting your 3D bits on, even on top of the netting. So that's just plastic doily. Here's
that's
another
nice.
piece of a plastic doily. That would be great.
That
Just
would
don't
be
make
great.
sure you don't have any straight lines. That's all. Make sure it's an awkward shape. You don't want straight edges. You would cut this bit off if you did it. Just no hard edges. There are no hard edges in nature. I have these pieces that I created with plastic doily and air dry clay that could go on there. Just, there's lots of fun. I have some shells in here. This is just a random bag of stuff. These are great. You can find those everywhere. What are they? They're not oyster shells. They're
Okay,
scallop shells.
Julie. We'll see you. We'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, Julie. Thank you. We'll see you later. I can't wait to see what you make. Okay, so I want to start on this while we're chatting here. And Lisa, do you want me to put the camera on both? Nope. Okay.
What are we going to do next?
I'm going to do the lid. I'm going to start on my cap and decide
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do my lid because I have sloshed. My wine bottle is sloshed.
Oh, look at that.
I think I probably used way too much.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. But Okay, they were artist charcoals that Miriam used.
So with your lid, you could always have something that pokes down in it. Like, let me see if I can grab this without making a mess. Like this, and then build from there. And then, keep adding or whatever it is that you want to do on there. You can cover it with tape and then cover it with texture paste. And then your little edges here won't even show. So maybe you even have some of those funnels that they send you with everything like this. Those would work
Yeah.
to start.
Very good.
For your base. Or anything like a rolled up piece of paper in a cone might work, because when you add enough stuff to it, it becomes solid. This is solid. Do you hear it? That's tape. That's a ball of tape on the end of that. And I glued together a lid. I don't think it was a milk lid. It had this on it. It was like one of those twisty tops from the fruit bags of fruit pulp for babies. It was one of those.
I remembered you using the chest piece of the tape, but I didn't remember what actually went inside the bottle.
Well,
do I get bonus points?
Put those together. So what I'm going to do this time, look at here. This cork fits perfectly in that. So I'm going to build there, I think. And I kind of think it needs to be bigger. So it needs something in the middle.
Tracy said she loves the way your bottle is looking.
Oh, thank you. I'm really liking the barnacles. I'm kind of impressed with the barnacles. They didn't look like much.
They're looking really good.
They didn't look like much laying down, but they sure do look better on the bottle.
You had a vision.
Yeah.
I figured your vision would be pretty straightforward. If you visualize something, you usually can produce it. So
I usually do. Well, I discovered a long time ago that I can make anything look like anything. And when I say that, I mean, at least from the stage to the audience. Being in set design really helped me out.
Yeah.
And doing all of that sort of stuff, I discovered all kinds of experimental expanding foam for house, seal your cracks in your house and put in your attic and whatever. I love expanding foam. It was so fun. And you can carve it. Just put it out in a blob and carve it. I had to make rocks one time for a sign that rolled in and out. And that was how I ended up being the theater director's assistant, as he just thought I was a genius after that, saying, okay, expanding foam, let's do that. And I made a whole pile of rocks. But, we needed something lightweight that held the sign up that could roll in and out. It was great.
When I got to go to California and go to the Universal Studios out there, because my cousin was married to a celebrity, and I mean a big celebrity. We got VIP tours.
Oh my goodness!
Just about everywhere we went, and we got to go behind. We were the last cart to roll up for shows. We were put on the front bench where you could just about reach out and touch people, and
that's really cool.
It was amazing to me, to when they took you through and were showing you how the prop room. And then they start throwing these rocks like they're heavy, and then they throw one towards somebody. And it's like, what? It's styrofoam. Who knew?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Expanding foam will do exactly the same thing. It's just so much fun to play with. And I even used it in some paintings over the years in college. And what looks like when you're looking down on a 3D model of, say the forest or whatever, we've got the raised bits. I've got paintings that look like that. They need redone because the paint does wear off of them if they bump anything in moving. That happened a lot, but yeah. Sorry about
Miriam said that she uses the wire. She'll use wire, like a chicken wire or wire net.
Oh yeah, you can do that, or the screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I pushed that in there. I'm going to use that. I do know. And then I might use this piece, but I think I would add that last because I kind of want this to show. So kind of think ahead about, I get real precious about, and I've talked about this. You guys have heard me about covering layers that I like. And if I know that I'm really going to like that thing, I have such a hard time with it because I don't want to cover it, but it needs covered once I get to a point, and it'll end up causing a dilemma in my
Oh,
process.
wire along with the insulation foam
Oh,
is what me.
oh,
Okay, that was I missed that part.
I
Thank
like
you
to
for
hold it
clarifying
up.
that, Miriam.
So what I'm
Yeah,
going to do is cover
that
this
gives you a
first.
smooth surface to work on.
Cover, cover, cover. So the first thing I want to do is use some tape. And I don't know if I have any masking tape in here, but I do have this stuff.
It's okay, Miriam. It's okay. You didn't mislead. It was just an
Oh, no, you're
additional
great.
detail. It wasn't. You didn't mislead. No way.
So what I want to do is make sure that this doesn't appear to be styrofoam in the end, and that it adheres. It's hard to glue styrofoam. So what I want to do is create a layer that goes up on the chest piece, even though it's
Good.
embedded in there.
Now, which tape did you decide to use? Are you using the medical tape, the
I'm using
paper
the
tape?
micropore. Yep, yep.
Okay.
Because I just didn't have masking tape on my desk right now. It's over by
So
it's by my Cricut.
realize that you can get a variety of tapes, but don't discount going to your local pharmacy or
No,
discount store and getting medical supplies versus going to a name brand big box store and paying outrageous prices for tape. In other
another way you
words,
could
you
do
can
this is
buy
with
paper
tissue
tape,
paper.
you can buy cloth tape, um, and those are very good resources.
So I'm creating a surface that I can actually paint on, that I can put, once again, mixed media on, because that's why we covered the glass. We want to be able
Hi,
to adhere
Trish.
things to it and paint it. Oh,
Trish's internet.
Trish.
Trish
Okay.
has got the flaky internet now, so she's gonna go.
Oh,
Bye, Trish.
okay.
Give Evie a hug. I'm thinking about you guys.
Yeah, please give her some love for us and take care. We'll talk
Yes,
to you soon.
Kylie too. Yes, we do like bandages, like gauze. We like to use gauze or what they used to use to make old school bandages with back in the day. Just get some good old soft muslin fabric that's been washed a few times, and you get some nice,
You can
interesting
use that on your
texture.
bottle too. Don't forget, gauze is possible. Any fishnet stockings got a hole in them, use those. Or you don't wear them anymore.
I'm thinking after hearing the talk about the fishnet stockings, it jogged my memory, and I'm thinking, okay, I know I've got my dress that I'm gonna wear to the tea party on the last night of conference, and it's Alice in Wonderland's the theme. So I've got myself that. I have and I'm gonna have to decide what I'm gonna wear, whether I'm gonna wear shoes that make sense and are practical, or if I'm gonna take a pair of real real adult women's shoes. Um,
Why don't you
that
get a
would be
pair of Mary Janes?
well. I've got that, and I'm that's why I'm thinking, okay, because I'm telling you, for every bag we carry, it's gonna be right at $100.
Yeah.
So, needless to say, taking a pair of shoes just to wear once is really not very
So I've
logical.
got those the ones made in that are Chinese, that are very soft fabric, and they have a very flat sole, and they flatten down to nothing or even fold up. They're made of
Do they have a
fabric.
terracotta bottom?
No. Well,
Do you
terracotta color?
remember those?
Color? The color? Yes.
Yeah, the color.
Yeah.
It was like
That's
when
what
I
they
was
are.
a teenager. Yeah, I had those. But
I
no,
have some.
I have some real shoe Mary Janes. I have a black pair and a blue pair. But I was thinking if I didn't wear the Mary Janes, I might get some fishnets to wear for that because my
Aren't you guys going to be Tweedledee and Tweedledum?
um there's gonna be a Tweedledum, but there's gonna be a Tweedledee or a Tweedledum, but it's not gonna be me because Zoe had a
So funny.
dress and she said, "Mom, what do you think about this dress?" I saw the fabric. It's black with big red roses on it. It's beautiful. And she had it in her bag to go to charity. And I said, wait a minute, let me try that thing on. And it fits perfectly. Now,
Oh,
granted, if I keep losing weight like I am, it may have to be altered getting closer to time. But I think that and a Kentucky Derby tea hat, I
I'm gonna have
think
to
might be
wash
fun.
this.
Definitely fun.
Gonna have to wash my mat when we're done. I have made a
So
mess on it. I
you wore
promise.
fishnets, Miriam? Yeah.
I used to
When I was growing
back
up,
in
my
the
dad
day.
wouldn't let us wear them. It was not allowed. They were not for his daughters. We could
So
wear
I'm
the
gonna put a
tights,
little
but
gesso
that
on here.
that was it.
Maybe I should connect it to something so that I can hold it. So maybe a pin or a something pokey, a wire, something like that. So I'm gonna look for
You
something
know
real quick.
what I've been using more than anything? Clip a clothespin to the top of it, the part you're holding in your hand.
Got it. Look at that. Got a pair of
Duh.
old tweezers.
Yep.
So I'm just gonna and it's just a base coat. This doesn't mean it's gonna be black in the end. It just means that I'm getting some gesso on it.
Yeah, Becky,
Um,
I love those things. I had several pairs of them because I liked them, but now I buy shoes for comfort. I
I
got
have
ruined
so
back
many
in the
pairs I
day
don't
when I
wear
first
anymore.
started working at the bank, which was before I had my first child, really, but right after. Um, they made you wear stockings and heels, and they had a certain requirement. It had to be a minimum of a 2.5 inch heel. And I can tell you that the people that made those rules certainly didn't have to walk around in those
They were
shoes.
men. Come on.
That they were. I don't have to say that. They were men.
That's almost
And they weren't men that
sexist
wore
to
heels.
do that now. That's very sexist. Like you can't
Well,
make
I'm
women wear
sure
a
that they
heel
have
anymore.
adjusted the rules at this
I'm
point
sure.
because by the time I worked there for almost 14 years, and by the time I left, they had dropped the stockings and they had dropped
I'm sure.
the heels because they were having so many people out because they couldn't stand. They were getting written out of work because they couldn't stand
Wow.
all day.
That's ridiculous, you know?
And
Okay, so I want to stand this up in something and I'm going to see if it'll fit in one of these little jars that I've got out here. Look at that. Look at that. These jars, that's actually real copper on there with a real patina. And I used to have them hanging around my kitchen sink and I would put fresh little flowers that the kids brought me that they picked in the yard. It had wire on it at some point, and I had a little hanger on it, but all of them were decorated different with like beads and stuff around the edge. And there was a whole collection of them around my sink.
hey, Becky said she wore those shoes and loved them. And then she
I
said
had a
that
lot.
she
Yeah.
used to work at a salon, and she said every time that they get a new manager to come in, they would try to think that they were going to stand all day looking cute in some heels. And she said, I just quit. You're a girl after my heart, Becky. Definitely.
I have
Yeah,
so many
I
heels.
have
I
to
probably
have good shoes. I can't, I would rather pay $200 for a pair of shoes. Not that I do, but I would rather pay $200 for a pair of shoes and be able to walk and my feet not hurt than to pay, you know, $20 for a cheap pair of shoes. I've learned my lesson.
so I've
I'm
also got
done.
these green glass, beautiful green glass beads that I may add toward the end. They're
Ooh.
flat. They're from tile, and all I bought was one sheet of it at the thrift store, and I got so many of these, and they're transparent, and those are something I might add at the end too because I really like the color, and I'm gonna try to get a multicolor this time. I'm gonna get a good black gesso on it first, but then I'm gonna go multicolor with it. I think, just so it's a little different than the first one. You know,
Okay,
like
you showing that also makes me think, okay, we haven't really talked about using buttons on this.
oh yeah, you could use buttons.
I think some of the old and textured buttons would definitely be
Oh,
very,
sea
very
glass.
pretty.
Yes, sea glass, Kylie. That would be amazing. I
I
wouldn't put those
I would
things
love
on
to
until
have
the
sea
end,
glass.
though. Not until the end, because you don't want to paint over it, because then what's the point? You guys could use chipboard. You can cut pieces of chipboard out that are in shapes that you like to start your first layers, because those aren't really gonna show. This is a plastic placemat that I spray painted over on a jewelry box or something a long time ago. That would be good because it's very bendy. These things are going to be great, I think, to put in like the crevices, like the art stones or the glass beads that people create with. So we're going to try those this time. I have these little plastic pieces here. I had painted gold for something else, and they were just clear plastic. It was like some sort of packaging, or I don't know what it was for.
I thought you were holding
Oh,
packages of salt or the what's the pellets that are in a package to keep things dry?
that's what this is. It's silica gel. That's exactly what this
Okay,
is.
okay.
So we'll see what
Then I
happens.
wasn't wrong.
Yeah, no, I think it was
Hi,
your idea.
Mo.
You mentioned it once.
Come on in.
Oh, hey, Mo. I'm so happy to see you here. Popping your head around the door to say hi before you go to sleep.
Yes.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Time change is hard. You can't.
Yeah,
It's
it
hard
is.
to
I
find a
know.
time that
I
suits
know.
everybody around the world.
So I've got my lid going, and I think what I'm going to do now, since this is at the drying stage, I'm going to go ahead and wrap my string around here if I can do it without touching everything. And then I might go in and make some more of the little paper barnacles, because those are going to be an underlayer that gets painted a little bit different. So I think I might go ahead and do on the bottom.
Really nice.
Oh, and this stuff, these were like those glow in the dark. It was like a whole string of them. It was glow in the dark, and I had spray painted over them because that's what I do. I spray paint over stuff to create a pattern on furniture or jewelry boxes or whatever. And it's actually, it's like plastic. These
That
I've
kind
used
of
on a
reminds
lot
me
of
of like I
whoa.
think I got some star like Mardi Gras beads when I was in Vegas.
These are a good thing to put on these. Like, I mean, I've got puzzle pieces here. I've got drone parts, but oh, there's one of the stars right there. And that one's a button, a star button. So you're just, adding texture and interest and making it special, you can use anything.
I do know.
Just hoping those are good suggestions. If you're thinking you don't have anything for this, you do. Definitely. Even if you just use pieces of cardboard that you stack up and cut into a shape.
Well, I think we just need to think, we need to think about what's in our box, not outside the box today. We need to think about what's in our box, what's in our box of goodies that,
Yeah.
And our little bits and bobs and trinkets that we've been holding on to. I think that it's, something that we sure need to consider.
Yeah. I think that, we all have something, even if you just go dig in the trash. This may not be exciting to watch, but we're going to do it. I think I'm going to plug in my hot glue gun for this part. You can also make hot glue barnacles. That was the other thing I forgot about. You could do little rings of glue.
Onto what type of paper?
Yeah, or even like after your first layer dries, or even under it if you haven't started the tape yet. That might be great, actually. So let me get this going here. Just for this, I want the string.
It does look like a starfish, Kylie. You're exactly right.
What looks like a starfish?
The beads you had with the stars. Yeah, she was saying that would look like a starfish.
Mm-hmm. And they don't have to look like they came from a shipwreck. I mean, maybe it was a really fancy bottle to begin with, Maybe it had all kinds of stuff on it. Or it had a picture of a lady and there was a rope frame around it. But, I mean, those are all ways to approach your bottles, so it's your style,
Saying that about the frames, what I've been picking up at the thrift store, like in pretty good quantities. I've learned that if I go to the thrift store on certain days, that I can find frames out the wazoo. I mean, it's just crazy.
The
It's like
only
they only
thing,
put them out on certain days, but if I go on senior day where I can get my 15% discount at the thrift store, I I will go and I will, make that happen. But
your
yeah,
bottle's round though. You want to make sure that you have something that is like a flat bottle. You can make your bottle flat, by the way. Um,
yeah, you put it in the oven, don't you?
no, no, no. You would just, what you would do is create a cardboard box around it. Like you cut a hole in that fits the wine, um, the neck. Sorry, words. And you put it down there, and then you start adding pieces of cardboard to make your bottle square, but it'll still have the neck sticking out. And then
Huh,
you're going to cover the cardboard so it looks like a square bottle with a wine bottle neck. Do you understand what I'm
that sounds
saying?
cool.
So you can do that with any bottle really, and make it square or rectangular, because you're covering the whole thing basically. If you're doing it this way, you can do it any way you want. I mean, you can leave spaces of nothing and see through the bottle, or you could put twinkly lights in it. Wow, that would be cool.
Yeah, I've got quite a bit of the fairy lights. Miriam says the key is to think of
Aquatic
subaquatic
sediment,
sediment.
yes, which could be anything in a shipwreck, by the way. um Anything you can think of. So let's see. I'm gonna pull the bottle back over here. Try to just get a dollop of this on here to get me started. Whoa, and I want to put it kind of in the middle. Ah, I need more hands.
I'd offer mine up, but I don't know that they'd be great
So
hands. I mean, really, I
I
would. I would help the girl
that.
out.
So I'm gonna actually take a bunch of this off here and wind it into a little ball, because I want to make sure that I can run it through that hole right there. So let's see. I don't think I need the glue gun anymore. I just needed it to get started. Gold leaf would be beautiful on your bottle at the end stages as well. Okay, so all I'm doing is making a little ball. I hope I have enough of this here. Okay.
Miriam, I wish I could crochet. I just know I've got the tools to do it.
Darn it.
I've never really been taught, but I know how it works. I know that my hands would pay dearly for it. So I'm kind of scared to really put it out there. And I know we shouldn't be afraid, but when you can't do basic necessities with your hands because you did something you wanted to do and play, it's kind of a bummer. A
So
big bummer.
I don't want to start another thing that I know how to do, because it would, I do enough things, and I don't want another favorite hobby, I guess is what I'm saying. That's why I haven't done it over the years. I mean, it's something that I wish I knew how to do, but I don't want to learn another craft, you know?
When
Um,
I would
I'm
There
busy
was a
enough.
lady we went to church with, and she would sit and do it during Sunday school. She would do it during the sermon. And anytime you had any kind of meet, greet, or otherwise, if she didn't have a fork in her hand, she had a crochet hook. And it was
That's cute.
adorable. It was just
That's cute.
adorable.
I I know I could do it while I watch TV or whatever, but I would rather, if the energy to do something with my hands, I would rather sit and do something else. I mean, it's not that I don't appreciate crocheting. I just know that I have too many things I love. Let's do internet
Yeah,
classes,
I
Lisa.
can.
Miriam said, "Aw, granny squares. That's cute."
We can do that. Miriam, if you teach, I will come. You know I will. I'll show up.
Enough here.
As
Let's
long as
see.
it's not Monday. Mondays are doctor days, so
I know that I would love to do it. That's the thing. I
it
I
might.
know I would, and And then it might take away any of my creative time that I have doing other things. And I wish my days were longer already. You guys know what I mean?
There's never enough time in the day.
There aren't. I feel like my days have gotten
You
shorter
either have time and energy
or
or
you
no time and
don't.
no energy. It's like,
Right.
you can't, it's kind of crazy.
Yep. I had endless energy in 48-hour days when I was younger, clearly. But now, not
I
so
love
much.
granny squares.
I used to have a sweater in my
Miriam, I love granny squares. I can remember watching people sit and make granny squares. And matter of fact, somebody local had one up for sale here for like $30, and it was a full size blanket. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I said, somebody sat for hours and hours and hours, and they're selling it for $30. I felt bad. I felt bad for the person
Yeah.
who made it, but they're probably long gone. But you never know. I
It
mean,
is sad when you look at all the work that goes into them.
my mother-in-law had so much handmade stuff that she had gotten at a little place called they called it the Cricket's Nest, and it was a place where seniors could take their goods, and they would it was through the Parks and Recreation Department, and they would actually um sell the products. They were in charge of selling it. They'd market it, sell it, and they would take a little shortcut, or not a shortcut, but a small percentage for doing that. But it was a beautiful service. They still have it. We try to, when holidays come around, we try to go and pick the kids something up, because their grandmother always did that, just to have that memory for them.
So what I did was I wound it back up like an extra little swirl, like this, and then so I could bring it up here and wind it around this. I guess I do need that hot glue gun for one more moment here. And I'm
Did
not going
you?
to seal it until I get my love note in there. So,
Yeah, I was gonna say,
yeah,
don't seal it. And
no, I won't. Not until I get my love note.
hey,
All I'm doing is
I'll
putting
be
this
right
in.
back.
Okay.
Zoe has left the house, but I'm smelling something that smells like it's in the stove, and that's not what I should be
Oh,
smelling.
yeah,
So
you
let
better go
me,
take care of that.
yeah, because the man's in the man cave. Let me go
You,
down and check that oven.
okay.
I'll be right back.
Usually by the time I go to bed, Miriam, my brain is so done. Like, usually by the time I sit down to do, I mean, like I go in the mornings, and then mid-afternoon, I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm out. And I don't even have any energy to do creative thinking sometimes, like I'm just out. I'm done. I'm tapping out, you know? Okay. So I'm just holding this for a minute until my glue gun. Really, you can make your own texture for this too. You could just use a little school glue with I'm gonna put that there. Hold it. A little school glue with maybe some cornstarch or some powder of some sort. You could make your own, just like texture paste.
Okay,
Um,
we're all good.
okay.
She had leftover pizza from last night, and she had put it in the oven, and I guess it was the cheese that I was smelling, but
Oh,
she had already left, so I was thinking, okay,
there we
she's
go.
forgotten left something in the oven. So
Oh,
yeah, I just
there it is.
I couldn't sit here and not know what was going on down there that was making it smell.
Okay, so I
Try
think what I'm going
it.
to do now is start adding, even though this is still wet, and I kind of want to go through that with you, because we'll work on these when we're alone.
Okay.
When you guys leave here today to make a bottle, which I hope you do, because I would love to see them all, and I will share them on my TikTok as a photo compilation if you guys send me the pictures and tag me online.
That will be
Okay.
awesome.
Um, I did a little photo compilation of the other bottle, and I did a really cool pirate song that my husband loves. Oh ho hoist! It's "Hoist the Colors" from Pirates of the Caribbean, I think. And so I showed it to him this morning and he was just thrilled with it. He thought it was so cool. But I will do that and share you all on TikTok with your permission, of course.
That's awesome.
So what we're going to want to do after this is start building our layers, knowing that they don't have to be the color that you see, because it's all going to get a coat of paint first, except for the string, of course. And I might leave the green, this kind of a green tint on the glass. I might leave that right there, but I'm not sure. And you can sand off anything that makes you unhappy as well.
Hi, Abby.
Hey, Evie, how are you? We
We're
were talking
thinking
about
about
you.
you. We've been
Yeah,
thinking about you. You're in the hearts of many. I'm glad
Minnie.
to hear that you're healing.
Yeah, completely. So I want to take some of these pieces, and maybe I don't need rusty pieces at this stage because it's going to get painted. Take some of the raw pieces. These, I don't know what they were. I had a whole bucket of them, but they look like the gears. So and you know, all these steampunk
Gears.
style.
Hey,
Gotta be steampunk.
do you have gears as part of drone parts?
Not really. If there are gears, but they're just too small. They're teeny tiny.
Yeah, we don't need teeny tiny and tedious. They
No.
are not my teeny tiny and tedious are not my friends.
Yeah, no, they're like eyeglass screw teeny tiny. So I'm just kind of thinking,
Oh
I
no,
want
no,
to
no.
add some
That's
bees.
too fiddly.
Got kind of thinking about the style.
Hey,
I might go with shells.
while you're looking, let's just remind everybody, we appreciate you being here with us today. If you hadn't hit the like button, if you will like, if you enjoyed, are enjoying the adventure, do share with your friends, your arty friends. And we do thank you. We really appreciate that you've shown up, and we are looking forward to seeing what you make with
Absolutely.
these themes in mind.
Yeah, it's so fun. You can use broken jewelry here too as well. That's the other thought, kind of
Hi,
use
Yolande.
whatever you've got. Hey, Yolande.
Yolande's here.
Well, hello. I think I want to use some of these pieces actually. Just kind of get my base built, and I'm gonna kind of go at an angle here. So I'm not gonna do the whole thing. I don't think I'm not gonna completely encrust it. We're doing these today, Yolande. Hey, I should have messaged Rhonda. Rhonda wanted to come, and she probably forgot because she wanted to do this too.
Well, the fact that that it didn't pop up,
Yeah,
prior to is kind of
yeah,
strange. So I
it
mean,
is.
I think she'll catch it on the replay.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, so at this stage, you can also wrap twine around your bottle anywhere you want. Like I wrapped this one, or you can use wire too. This is just twine that got painted, and then it got some embossing powder on it. Everything kind of got a coat of stuff, and it's just string that I tied on there. And I think I did the string last. Actually, see, it's over everything. Lisa did pull something out. Works good earlier, and I know she doesn't have it on her desk now. This stuff. This is good stuff right here. The drywall tape, or this one is made for this. And I think this one is too, and I can't
Yes,
find it.
Abby. What we're trying to do is recreate, something that might have been tossed up out of the ocean, like a bottle
Yes.
that you may have found that had washed
Yes,
up on
yes.
shore, or somebody that was scuba diving found a treasure. This is
Yeah.
the idea behind what we're trying to create with the bottles. But if you do not have a bottle, don't let that dissuade you from trying to use the same technique, because you can do it on a box. You can do it on a tin can. I mean, you can do it on so many different things, and there's so many different ways, to bring out some color and to make something pop and be interesting.
I'm thinking maybe some resin pieces, and she looks like she belongs on the bow of a ship, but I'm not sure that she belongs on my bottle. I just don't know. I don't necessarily need a focal point. What I need is layers of interest that make you lean in and want to touch it. but she
You-
might be for another ocean
That's
project.
from the set that you got right before Christmas, isn't it?
I got for Christmas from my
Oh, it
husband.
was for Christmas.
Yes.
Okay, I was thinking before Christmas, but yeah, that would be very interesting. That would be
And then
very,
I've
very
got a
interesting. It
bunch of little
reminds me
resin.
of like the Viking ships that you might see in magazines
Yes,
or
on the bow.
museums
Yeah.
where they had the carve. They would use like a balsam wood, a very soft wood. So when they're found, they're truly valued. So
They oh, I've got this one that's kind of got a shell on it. These are all resin pieces that I poured. I have these molds. This one was from Anne though, Anne Lauber. Um, and it's a 3D print, but it just goes in here. This one too. This could be a Viking bottle. That looks kind of Viking.
now, does
This
Bill
has a
do
shell.
any 3D? If you've got something that
He has a
like
3D
that
printer.
that's 3D printed, will
Yeah.
he print those for you?
Oh yeah. He prints me stuff all the time.
Yeah, I think the first piece I saw was the I am Root, right?
The Groot. Yeah, yeah. The Groot
Groot. I
planter.
am Groot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
I
so
said Root.
cute.
I did say Root. I did not say Groot. You caught me.
Oh, I didn't hear
Yes,
it.
Evie, pain medication can make you a mess
So
in a
I'm
lot
just
of
pulling out
ways.
little pieces
She said it's
here.
knocking her out. I just hope
Oh,
I hope your pain is decreasing and you're getting more,
yeah.
the therapy's helping.
I've also got these skulls, which would be really cool, I think. Um,
Do you want to go with skulls, or do you
that's
want
a
to go
whole
with a
different look.
skull feel, or do you want to go with a more magical,
Like a
like
royal or a
like the mermaid
pirate.
idea?
Well, I'm not going to do mermaid. I would do more like a
Okay, then
royal
I've
bottle
got the
or a.
mermaid. You take the skulls. We'll
Okay.
just split that hair right now.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to do that. Let's do it. Okay.
Yes, broken jewelry is like having the mother load. My mother had all kinds of broken jewelry, and then she had some that she loved it. And when we were moving her out into a facility, um, she looked at me and she said, "But nobody wants my necklaces." And I'm thinking, that's because
Oh,
they're
they're
ugly. Nobody wants to wear a tacky stuff. I'm thinking in the back of my mind, and I'm thinking, now, Lisa, you know better than that. That's your mama's stuff, and it means something to her. So it came to my house, and it hung up, and I'd wear it occasionally. I'd wear one to work. Now, when I get up, when I was still working a public job, I worked in a bank. So you get up and you say, "What color are we wearing today? Black, or darker black?" It was people didn't wear pops of color. They didn't wear colorful clothes, and that's what I prefer to wear myself. I mean,
I'm
I,
gonna
I
pull out
think
some
I was
shells.
born with rainbows and tie dyes, but you know, I brought it home, and when I started going back through it, I picked out the pieces that I really liked, and I put the others in a box and shoved them under a chair in my room. And they sat there for 2 years, and then I started watching Sharon, and she was pulling stuff out of the jewelry box. I said, "Wait a minute. I got a jewelry box. I got a box that I can go and I got an unlimited supply of art supplies that I hadn't even thought about as art
Yes,
supplies."
she would be
So
probably
they have
honored
made their
to
way
have
to the
you use it
car.
on.
They're in the craft room now, and I'm exceeding one box already. My single box I started with has multiplied because people keep sending me pieces and parts.
So I'm pulling out little shells here too. Those will go as
Oh, I
finishing
like
bits.
those.
Some of them will go underneath because I'm going to have, I want multicolors here. I'm going to save some to go on last, so that they have either their natural color or a lighter color. So I'm just doing a little digging here in my box of goodies.
Yes, I'll have to remember to bring my shell box out. I've got a lot of nice shells. I used to collect them when I was younger, and matter of fact, my first apartment, behind the sofa there was seagulls. It was this big, huge, like 6 foot print of seagulls, and
Huh.
my first dishes have seagulls on them. It was called Moonflight. But I had shells all over the place, and that's what I decorated with because, I was broke as a joke. I worked one full-time job. I went to school full time and I worked two part-time jobs to pay the rent. So,
Oh,
and everything that come into my house basically was either thrifted or gifted. Those were the two options that were available. So,
yeah, I was like that when I was young too.
yeah,
I raised five
but it was
kids.
a fun apartment. It was a lot of fun. We were there. I was
Barbara
there
said
3 years
earlier,
before we got married.
anything that you would have found on the Titanic, which is a
Exactly.
really great way to think about this. But I also have like this is crystals, like from the earth crystals in the layers. Those would be beautiful on a bottle, but don't cover them with paint. Put them on last. If you've got a collection of pieces like this, you know, that's a great idea.
I have some fossil looking pieces, definitely. I will definitely have some fossil things going on.
So I'm just pulling out this and that. Maybe I'll use a little bit of that. This, you guys saw this earlier. I had just started her and then I got a project out and had to put her away. I've actually made one of these before and I sold it on Etsy. I made it a long time ago, actually. And she was pearl colored and I gave her a full crown of shells and she was also covered with pearls. And she will be in the end too. And I may not like her color in the end, but we'll find out. I'll get there when I get there. I also used like really fine iridescent glitter and like pearl colors on the other one, but we'll see. Anyway, thank
Well,
you.
now, where did you get the base for that? Did you
A
make,
girl, I've
yeah.
collected these all my life and I painted this one.
So, do
They're
you have,
busts.
can Bill make one of those?
He could, yeah. There are busts on there, and I have them picked out. And I told him that I would want some. So, yep, they're not as heavy as this. This is like chalk. That is made of the chalk.
That
I've got
chalk
two
stuff.
that I bought online, and they both came broken. I was so mad they're in
Yeah,
a box.
that
I was
that
so
that
mad.
particular
Can't
material is
wrap them.
so different from like ceramics. I mean, it's almost like, there's no clay in it at all. It's more like soap and a little bit of clay.
Yeah, she just threw them in a box that was too big. And I messaged her, and she never messaged me back.
Yeah, that's when if
So
we
mad.
sell anything on eBay, that's one thing that, we always
Think
we
about
sit
that.
down there together and we package stuff up if we've got, quite a few things going out.
Yeah.
But when we were selling mom's porcelain dolls, everything ended up it either ended up here or it ended up at Goodwill.
So I'm gonna get
And
a tray.
as long as she was still out and about or somebody was taking her out and about, I told my sister, I said, we can't be having any of her dolls showing up because they got her name written all over them. So she'll recognize it. I said, and she will be mad. Then I said she'll be upset, and you will not be able to handle that kind of upset. So they came here, and after she passed away, I decided which ones I wanted to keep and which ones were going to go. And a lot of them, I donated some to
Those are pirate coins right
children's
there.
charities, and we donated some and we sold some. But we would sit down there and put bubble wrap around them and put rubber bands on their arms and do all that stuff. And I mean, when we would send them out of here, we felt pretty certain that they weren't going to arrive broken, and we never had a
Yeah, it's
complaint.
so frustrating, isn't it?
Matter of fact, one lady said, Mr. Mingus, I don't think I've ever received a package from a man that was so thoroughly wrapped. I
Well,
love.
that's cool at
I
least. What
thought
do
it
I
was
do
a
with this
compliment.
skull? Oh,
I found it kind of amusing.
I'm gonna use this skull up here because
Okay,
it's
we've got about 6 minutes.
okay. So what I've done here is created a collection to get me started. Now, remember to put your first layer should be things you don't love as much because they're going to get kind of covered. So you're going to go kind of you're going to go from the bottom up and build from there and cover anything along the way that you don't like. Kind of do a layout, a design layout, like, here, let me put this on my lap. Like, do you want to cover the whole thing? Do you want to do like something in the center? Do you want something that spirals around it? Kind of decide on your layout. Put the heavier things on the bottom, things that take up more space that are heavier, like, say, I don't really have anything heavy out here. I might use, this is hot glue from a mold. I know it's gonna, when I take the heat tool to it, it's gonna distort a little bit. So I may or may not use it, but that might be a heavier item that goes at the bottom. Kind of decide on what shape, squint your eyes, see the shape of the items, not the item themselves. Does that make sense? So squint your eyes and look at the overall shape, not the color, and see what makes sense to you design wise. Did that help at all with the layers?
Yes.
Lisa? Okay.
Yes. Very good.
As a thought, and you guys, I mean, you're all artists. I have faith that you all know how to do this, to design something. I'm going to sit here at my desk because I sent my husband away, and I am going to do this today. So work on this independently, please. And then we'll get together on Valentine's Day. How do you guys feel about that? What
Okay,
stage will you
Sharon,
show
how
next time?
Kylie would like to know how far will you take this before
Okay.
we come back on again?
Before we come back on again, I'm
Which will be
thinking
February the 14th.
February 14th. I'm going to get some of my pieces glued on. I may get some gesso on it. I may not. What I'd like to do for our very last stream, the third Saturday of February, the last stream of the month, what I want to do is make sure that we get all of our finishing touches on there. And the finishing touches could be little bits of sparkle or little bits of jewelry or pearls or rust or, all those kind of, maybe the little shells, like these little guys, I might add at that stage.
We do
And I
not
might,
have a third Saturday. We go into March, but we do have the extra stream on the 14th. So we will be back on the 17th. But we're going to do the 14th and then we'll do the 17th.
it's the first and third Saturday of each month that I'm live. And what she means is an extra fifth Saturday to work on. Not third. We do have a third Saturday.
Oh. For
I
some
know what you
reason,
meant.
well, daggone, no wonder I get all screwed up. I'm thinking it's the
I know what you meant. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody's
yeah,
bottle.
yeah. And I will not be with you on March the 2nd. When March the 2nd comes along, I will not be here.
That's okay. I'll just have my phone in front of me, and we're gonna start on our traveling show journal at that point, or maybe we'll just have a gel print session.
Yeah, I think we need to dust off our gel prints. So my gel plate is it's not technically dusty, but it's lonely. It just is abandoned. It's been abandoned.
So why don't we make some pages for our traveling show book? Get out the colors we need and the kind of stencils we want. And so what I would suggest is get your bottle prepped, get your first layers on, make some barnacles if you're gonna, and you could start adding some of your bulkier pieces that are gonna get that color gesso on it. Does that make sense? And then we'll do the final touches. Wait, we have the 14th. So the 14th, we'll put our gesso on and get that started, and we'll see how far we get. How's that sound?
Well, my curd jar is ready for whatever's happening next. It's dry.
This actually went by pretty quickly. So, I mean, I can't believe we got this much done today, actually. So,
hey, maybe before I need to take my anniversary dinner on March the 2nd, maybe you can get someone to walk you through the setting the moderator so that somebody that's in the chat can help you.
Oh yeah.
Because I know Kylie,
or I could just do it myself, depending on what we do.
Yeah, if you're going to be doing the gel, if you are going to be doing the gel prints that night, it might be helpful to have a couple.
Yeah.
You've got Miriam, Kylie,
Yeah.
Yolande,
Okay.
all of those people, are very familiar with what needs to be done. So
Right.
more so than me,
Well, okay.
I'll
Well,
be
we will
honest.
see you all on the 14th of February. Post your bottles. Let me see the stages that you have and kind
Bye,
of what you're looking at.
everybody. And thank you for coming. We do
Thank you so
appreciate
much
it.
for being
Have a
here.
good
We meet you.
evening. Bye
And
bye.
have a good Saturday. Good weekend. See you in the morning. Bye guys.